So today we're going to be talking about Tokusatsu. We're going to be talking about the differences between Power Rangers, Beast Morphers versus the series that it spawned from, and that is Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters. I actually was able to say it in one shot.
I'm proud. So exactly what do you know about Go-Busters?
Well, I guess, wait, so okay, so basically it's Super Sentai, right? So it's 3 people, it's not 5. Like they're usually, I think there's 5 later, but we're not worried about that right now. It's 5 later, but it's really cool because they got Beast Power. They got let's go, but I get them all mixed up. Go-Busters, Ghostbusters.
Stop.
What?
Cut.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? I'm Ernie, Blerd without fear.
And I'm Maria Park.
And welcome back to the channel. So today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about Go-Busters, Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters, and we're going to be talking about the differences between that Super Sentai season versus the current Power Rangers Beast Morphers series, as technically was the first. Is it the first by Hasbro?
It is the first by Hasbro.
It is the first by Hasbro, so there you go. The more you know. We're going to be talking about the differences between the show, how, maybe some of the story beats switch up a little bit, the setup of the Rangers is a little bit different, there's even some switch up on the villain. Sometimes they use the villain from the Sentai version, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do this weird hodgepodge of stuff that comes from somewhere, I don't know. They're not exactly Lord Zed in it, but, but they're not exactly going, full on, evil witch, Satanist Bandora, so... It is what it is.
Bandora.
I mean, she is. She's Satanist, right?
Well...
she worships the devil. They say it in the subtitles.
So anyway... What he meant to say was, they're not Rita repulsing this show. So they're actually trying to make it a lot like the Sentai. Which we will talk about very shortly.
Yes, we will. So... Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters. You actually have a special connection to this show.
To Go-Busters? Mm-hmm. I do have a special connection. It's called my cell phone. Because I have not watched this series since 2012 when it originally aired in Japan, and I would get it, I would just get episodes and I would watch them, as they came out on a weekly basis on Sundays. So I have to go to my reference cheat sheet so I can make sure that I understand what I'm going to say and not sound like a noob. So.
And also for those who are not familiar, Sundays, because some of you probably went like, Sundays? What's that all about? Sunday is kind of like Saturday in Japan. Yeah. So how we had... you don't have them anymore, but we had Saturday morning cartoons. Well, Japan, they have Sunday. So
they have Sunday.
There you go.
I mean, there's no other way of saying that. Sunday is their action day. And so all of the tokusatsu shows that I'm sure you'll talk about another point in time, Super Sentai, all that comes out on Sunday mornings are really, I think for them, it might even be evening, but I have to check my facts.
Well, I know they run them together because it's superhero time.
Yeah, so they're usually back to back. You have a Super Sentai show, and then you have the Kamen Rider series of that time. Back to back, so. But yeah, so I have my reference because there are so many shows, and I don't want to give you Jetman information, throw out
there's
Go Kaiser. There's so many Go Sentais, so it's I don't want to get them all mixed up. So.
Yeah, there's 43 seasons of Super Sentai, and that's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. And I actually can say that I've watched every Super Sentai series that has ever come out. So.
Good God of might.
Yeah, and that again. Own reference. We're also wearing our shirts in support of our characters that we're going to talk about. So I'm wearing yellow for Yoko from Go-Busters. It will be Zoe in Beast Morphers.
And I'm wearing red for Devin, who is going to be your Beast Morphers Red Ranger. But I guess technically, if you go to Go-Busters, it would be for Himaru, who is going to be your Red Buster.
Yes, and he's awesome.
Yes.
What do you know about Go-Busters?
Go-Busters, it's a spy motif show. All the Super Sentai shows have a motif, whether it's dinosaurs, police, whatever, pirates, whatever. That does happen, and it's great. But this one is a spy motif. The characters that you see, your Red Buster, your Blue Buster, your Yellow Buster, they all have gadgets and stuff like that you would typically see in a spy movie.
Right.
or whatever. Going by the 3 episodes of Go-Busters that I watched, just the first 3. Basically, what I took away from it was that there is this evil computer virus, which in Go-Busters is named Messiah. In Beast Morphers, it is named is it Evox?
Evox.
Yeah, Evox, because that sounds evil. Basically, what you get here is this evil computer virus is basically running amok. And as most villains usually do it, he has some help. He has people working with him. When you look at Go-Busters, there goes into some stuff where they talk about their flashbacks as children with the buddy Roids, and I think it was Himaru's father who helped save them from, I guess, what would be like the initial escape of Evox, and then we kind of flash forward to the present where all of the characters Ryuki, Yoko, and Himaru have already, they've already become the Go-Busters, more or less.
And there's
Himaru,
considerable age difference, too, between them.
Ryuki, I want to say, is like in his late 20s.
Yeah,
I think he's like 28.
28, yeah.
He's the oldest. Ryuki is the Blue Buster.
Blue Buster. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's that. And then you've also got Yoko. I can't remember exactly how old Yoko is.
She was 16 because she hadn't gone to high school.
Because Himaru is the second oldest,
right?
If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's that. In this particular one, where you go to like Beast Morphers, that's when you start getting to more like younger. Like I'm not saying that they're as young as Yoko, but they're probably more in between Himaru.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out if they're considered college students in the Hasbro version because Zoe works in the laundry room. Mm-hmm. Ravi, I don't actually know what his job is. I think he works for his mother because his mother's over the organization, so I'm assuming that's his role.
Yeah, basically, because you look at Ravi, at least from what I can take from it, is that he was supposed to be in the running to be the Blue Ranger.
Right. He's the original chosen core group for
Blaze and
Roxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there were the other two. And I think Roxy, that's another difference, is that there were no real core romantic relationships in Go-Busters, but right off the bat, episode 1, Robbie's already been in a relationship with Roxy. Yeah. And he's like, girl, we're gonna be Rangers, so...
Can't be with you no more.
Like,
Peace out, Girl Scout.
And I mean, that was it. It was like, and they stressed it multiple times in the episode. They even had a flashback scene of them on a bridge, like with water. And
I want to say Devin
can't do it.
Did Devin and Blaze have some weird thing?
Yeah.
Not saying that they were dating, but just saying they had a weird interaction.
Between each other. What happened was in the very I think it's the very first scene you see them in a karate class.
That's what it is.
And they're sparring, and Devin's got headphones on, and he's bored basically. He's like, and he even makes a comment. And he's like, kind of waiting for something interesting. Show me something worthwhile. Basically, it's a little cocky.
Look. Let's be fair here. Devin, can we speak plainly about this? Devin is the one brother on the show, and
his dad's a brother.
Well, I mean, of the Rangers though. Okay, it's been a while. It's been a minute since we've had a brother as the Red Ranger. And as you would expect with this, that means he's got to bring a little seasoning to the show. So he's got to talk kind of spicy every now and again when it comes to his
seasonal.
Just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He kind of has to sprinkle a little bit of shade on him every now and again. But yeah, no, I like. Of the characters I've seen, as far as the differences between Go-Buster and Beast Morphers, personality-wise, the characters in Beast Morphers do share some similarities with the characters,
but not a lot.
Not a lot. It's little stuff so Devin and Himaru. Just from what I had seen of Himaru is kind of blunt. Which I guess technically...
Kind of is putting that lightly.
It's putting mildly.
He's very direct.
He's very direct.
And sometimes it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
So...
he's a guy okay, so if you ever have something in your teeth, Himaru is a guy that'd be and this is while you're with your friends, in front of Queen and Country, and he's just gonna be you got something in your teeth, bro.
Yep.
That's Himaru.
You're on live TV. Yeah, there's.
He's gonna put you on Front Street.
Yeah, he's gonna call it out.
But if you're looking at maybe a character I think Zoe and Yoko are kind of Zoe can be a little cocky. She can be a little cocky, But I think Yoko takes it a step further. Like, Yoko just is all over the place, like, emotionally. So that's kind of what I took
And I think that stems, they have two different backgrounds, though. So I think it's because of the trauma of losing her parents, her mother, you know, and having to be raised, basically, to become a Go-Buster. That, she didn't really have a childhood. And Zoe, we learned, you know, her mother's a reporter and very supportive. And so really it's more of, she has a can-do attitude because I think her mother tells her that she can do anything. So I think that's that mother-daughter thing going on.
Well, and you got Ravi. He's like, okay, so Ryuki is like he's kind of like the more level-headed, more
older brother.
Yeah, kind of. He's the elder statesman of the group.
Yeah.
Ravi is not exactly that, but he's not exactly not either. Like he takes the whole ranger business very seriously.
Extremely.
Like almost like to a point where like I think in the first episode or two, like they're arguing over who is the actual leader, and it's like, and there's some points if you watch some of the promos for this stuff, like I did before actually watching the show. There were some points I was like, are they making the Blue Ranger the leader in this one? Like, what's going on here? Why Devin sitting in the back chilling? Why is he saying it's morphin' time? He needs to stay in his lane. This is Devin's show. That's
what's so interesting about episode 2 is they did the exact same thing in Beast Morphers, but they actually reversed it. So like Devin was the one that was a level-headed one.
Yeah.
And you know, Zoe and Robbie were just, for some reason, they were going back and forth. And, like, it was to the point where...
I'm the leader!
And we first... Like, Ian Robbie's like, I'm the only one that trains, so technically, you know, you guys are just fill-ins. So.
They're having this, like, it's almost like a pissing contest to see who is actually in charge.
It is, yeah.
And Devin's the one that kind of come and be like, can y'all chill out? I've just got done, like, piecing up, like, I don't know how many of these guys, and y'all are still sitting here, like, you know, talking about... you know, who's in charge. Here, I'm your manager.
What's really funny is it's Robbie's mother who makes the decision, right? So it's her choice. And so he's saying this in front of his mother, and then Zoe makes a point of, well, I, you know, rearranged the laundry room. And then he's like, oh, laundry room. And then his mother throws shade on him and says, you've never done laundry a day in your life. And I was like, okay, well, you just got taken out of the running.
Let's be fair here. Robbie's mother, who is she like the major,
She's
the commander?
Major. No, I don't know what her I guess I didn't pay enough attention to her title, but I know she's in charge of...
She leads the school. Like, she is the one who is in charge of the entire... Because kind of like what we were talking about, like, where Go-Busters is like a spy type deal, and there is an organization behind them. Not Go-Busters, but Beast Morphers is more of a paramilitary operation. It's way more like uniform than what Go-Busters is. And in this, you have Robbie's mother is just like... She's the head person in charge. She comes in. She doesn't really take a lot of crap either. If you ever watch like SPD, like she's your Doggy Kruger. Just maybe I think she might be more hardcore.
She's kind of a cross between Doggy and Cat.
Yeah, if you take the two characters and put them together.
And it sounds like she has a lot of like science knowledge. So she's not just military upfront training. She actually understands the science behind what's happening too. So kind of like a hybrid between those two. Which is a good analogy, by the way.
Yeah, you know, you
gotta throw it out there.
Gotta get on that Doggy Kruger every now and again. Let's talk about the powers. Because the powers, I think, come across a little differently.
Well, they're very similar.
Well, they're the same, but like just the nature of the weaknesses are what. Let's start with Yoko.
Okay, so she still has the jumping ability, and so Yoko's able to leap. Now, what's interesting is...
are you talking about the links to the animals?
The links to the animals.
That's what I was talking about.
I don't ever recall that being a thing, because what I remember, and this is without looking it up, they were affected by the virus, too.
Right.
And so it gave them these abilities.
Correct.
And their weaknesses were just like a side effect, and they were weird. They were really weird.
Go-Busters is more about, like, Go-Busters is probably more similar to a traditional superhero story where, like, there's an accident that gives them powers versus in Beast Morphers, they have DNA that is, you know, in their system that, like, I guess Zoe, the Yoko counterpart, she has Jackrabbit DNA.
Yeah. Which is, okay, so, to play devil's advocate.
Go ahead. I'm waiting for it.
Because, I mean, I agree with you about superpowers. You know, I'm a comic nerd, so I love talking about people get their abilities if they're not born with it. But, so, I'm going to start with Yoko. Whenever she gets drained, she's literally like a weight, like a 5-ton weight on the ground. Cannot physically move one finger of her body. And the only thing that helps her is chocolate. I don't know about you guys, but if you ever had to cram for an exam and you've had a lot of coffee, or in this case, a lot of chocolate, you do get that immediate sugar rush, but then you get that immediate crash.
Yeah.
So I never understood why chocolate was her thing.
I feel like chocolate would be problematic for anything that was like a rabbit.
Zoe in like Beast Morphers, it's a carrot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but it's like she has jackrabbit DNA. So when she gets weak, it's the same process. She can barely move, and then she has to be fed carrots.
And it was
so I'm thinking they're trying to get a lot of kids to eat a lot of vegetables.
Probably. You know, that's what I took away from it.
But
you look at like Ryuki. He overheats if he uses too much.
And
like
he
has
that.
super strength, and it's the same for Robbie.
It's the same. It's almost, but it's they made it like King Kong. So like he becomes King Kong, and if he's
he like rages out
too much, or what's that? Is that the movie Rage? With George. Kind of like that when he turns into George, he like loses it and he like starts smoking, and then the same thing happens in Go-Busters.
Yeah, Rampage.
So Rampage, that's what it is.
That's Rampage. Rampage. I don't know why I was like Rage. I was like, yeah, sure.
Because we didn't look at the phone.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, so it's the same principle except. Like in Go-Busters, he overheats and actually, it's the same because in Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Robbie tried to shoot Zoe.
He did, yeah.
So
that is true. Well,
they become like homicidal, raging.
So I guess he is probably the one that's a lot closer.
Yeah, he's probably the closest to him.
Now that also brings us to the interesting one of Himaru and Devin, because Himaru, his whole thing is that he has super speed,
right?
To the point that it looks like he's a teleporter. Like when he uses super speed, like there was one episode I was watching, like I think the first one where he really gets to like cut loose. Is he's getting ready to get burned by this monster that has a flamethrower, and you think like, oh dude, he got him. You really didn't get him, but you're thinking, dude, he got him.
Insurance.
And the next thing you know, he's like, it's like you see this red outline kind of where the flame was because. Himaru isn't there anymore. He's actually behind the monster. So it's cool stuff like that. So he's kind of like. It's almost like a weird Hunter Zolomon thing. That's a Flash.
But then his weaknesses are weird. Well, both of the and his
it's about fear. At least for the most part. Now Himaru, his whole thing is he's scared of chickens,
right?
Which has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. But chickens are the thing that he's more common. Like he has a weird phobia of chickens, and
I don't remember if they ever went. I need to look that up.
I think they actually do address it at some point. Did they ever address him as a
child being terrified of chickens?
But even like other stimulants, like other things that would like strike fear in him, those also cause him to freeze too, but more specifically, chickens. Now, Devin, on the other hand, there is, I think is it in the first or second episode?
It's in the second one.
The second one?
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who the leader is.
Right, like he actually does freeze up, like to the point where he's in we'll say Zord,
everyone knows it's a Zord.
We'll keep it simple. Yeah. But yeah, when he's in a Zord, like he actually does like legit freeze up, like, and he can't operate the Zord, he can't do anything, like, and it takes him a minute to kind of get out of his, get out of his feelings. But there, like I said, there's similarities between the power sets for the most part, but it's just how the powers come into play, how they're derived, just it's little small stuff. This is probably one of the more, I would actually say probably of any adaptation that has been done so far, probably one of the ones that's it tries to skew as close as possible.
It does,
to the original, if it can. Like there's stuff that doesn't translate. But I was really surprised about the Buddy Roids. The Buddy Roids
like actually having them talk too,
because they have been left out.
Yeah, especially in the RPM. I was like, that's not what happened. We would normally see if the Zords' eyes moved and the mouths moved, they normally have a sound coming out. But they did address it in RPM. They made fun of it. They actually made fun of it.
Because what was it? Go-Kiger, they had the little kind of clockwork bird, but that wasn't in Super Mega Force.
Well, that's
or that whole other story.
That's a whole other conversation, and you know how I feel about Mega Force, so that's a different conversation.
Power Rangers.
No. So
Mega Force.
But no, I thought it was really cool that they incorporated the Buddy Roids in, and then also gave them personalities.
Yeah.
Similar to what what they had.
They're pretty close.
Yeah.
I would dare say they are. they're almost unchanged. Almost. There may be a couple of things I know. Yeah. I was kind of like, it's a little.
There's a little bit. But I mean, from what I can see, like if you put them side by side, it's very small.
No, it's it's minuscule, and I just think it's cool that they do add in the and I'm gonna go ahead and be honest, I'm blanking on these two characters' names. There are two characters that are not present in Go-Busters, but are
the comedy relief.
The comedy because it's Power Rangers. It's Betty. I know Betty.
It's Betty, but I can't remember her brother's name.
Her brother, who's kind of like they're kind of every Power Ranger series, for the most part, has a comic relief character or comic relief characters. Like if you're a Mighty Morphin fan, you remember Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, they set the mold for it.
They set the mold for it, and then now it's Betty and I'm gonna go ahead and just be honest, I don't remember the other guy's name.
You keep talking.
You go ahead and
I'm gonna find that information.
It's 2019. Why live in ignorance when we have cell phones? But no, so basically these characters. They're kind of weird to me because they are both comic relief and sometimes I feel like they can be kind of like, I don't want to say like bullies or like bad people, but like they're just not bright. Like they're smart kids, but they're like the dumb, like, so if you took like every smart kid in a school and took the dumbest one, they're still the smartest, they're still smarter than anybody else in any other school, but compared to everybody else, they're kind of the dumb ones. That's kind of what I think of them.
Well, I actually think they're very smart. They just have very bad luck, and his name is Ben, by the way.
Ben and Betty.
Betty's the older sister.
Yeah,
so,
and she's kind of the lead.
She is.
Between the, like, which I was like, dude.
Well, she's the lead, and he's like the conscience, but he's also the fear. So, like, whenever she's like, let's go, he's like, no, we shouldn't do that. We can go home.
He's like,
but
nah.
I mean, when there's an episode. I think it has to be episode 3 because I don't think we're at 4.
I don't. Yeah, 4. They just put up 4 today. Yeah.
But when Zoe was making the bikes that she was trying to get everyone to switch to, so they wouldn't cut down the forest, and so. Ben and Betty came up with like their own double bike, and like they developed this technology, just like the technology where they were playing around in the lab and they made like, well, I guess it's supposed to be the stun, the stun guns,
right?
But I don't know what happened. It was like sending like massive amounts of electricity through people's bodies and backfiring on them. So
yeah,
but it's not that they're. I don't think it's that they're the dumb characters. I just think that they have Murphy's Law problems. Everything happens to them for some reason.
Like I said, it's kind of like I said, it's they're not dumb. No, but it's just like of all the smart people, the people are supposed to know what's going down. They are the ones that are probably the least I feel like they're the least informed or the least skilled.
And maybe that's the problem because they're so least informed. They're not prepared for what's actually happening. Like if it's really bad, like just say like Devin shot his gun. And they're like across town. Somehow that bullet would find them because that's what
that sounds about.
So it's sad. It's just a sad. They're funny, but it's a sad role to play.
I will say, and I'm always able to tie my rabbit trails into actual like facts, but and to the subject matter of what we're actually talking about. But reason why I kept bringing up SPD because I feel like Beast Morphers does have one thing in common with SPD that I really liked. So. In this show, and we kind of hinted at it earlier, these characters, Devin, Zoe, Ravi, they're not necessarily supposed to be the Rangers, and that's kind of what was kind of the thing in SPD was that you had these people who they're your Rangers, but they weren't the Rangers. They were kind of like the B squad, while the A squad didn't come in. Like you saw them around, but they weren't like. Right. They just weren't front and center because they were busy on real business.
Well, and then the Red and Yellow Ranger actually were criminals too.
Right. Yeah.
So there was 2 layers of that. There was B team, and then the ones that were added on that were criminals.
Which is kind of almost the same thing here because you got Red and Yellow in this one.
Because Devin did break in. He was put in the brig. So
and Zoe was working laundry.
Person. Disqualified.
But, you're not in. But I do like how they kind of bring that back in this series. It's kind of almost the same thing, but also kind of some parody there. You got Blaze and Roxy who their characters are in comas because of the whole virus thing. They come in, they basically get duplicated where they have an evil doppelganger version of themselves running around who can morph into, I guess, what is it, like I guess they're considered like the evil red and evil yellow Rangers.
Yeah, it's just like you remember back in the day with Power Rangers in space, and they had evil version of stuff. They almost look like the same costumes.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of the Mega Rangers, like it's
almost the exact same thing.
The Neji Ranger, it kind of looks like that type of situation going on.
Which I guess this one is weird in the sense that typically you have 5 Rangers, but this one starts out with 3 and then builds up to 5.
Well, yeah. There's a lot about Go-Busters that are interesting, especially since Maji Yellow becomes one of the newest Rangers, but one's a robot, so...
That's true. Well, there's like the Beetle one.
It's the Beetle,
There's a Beetle one, and then,
But I don't know. I mean, I guess I could kind of see Roxy and Blaze...
Like maybe they might...
the 5th and 6th... 4th and 5th Ranger.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they'll pull like a Mighty Morphin and just start like throwing in stuff from like other seasons and start mixing it in.
Or they could do like Lightspeed. You know, they made their own Power Ranger character. Titanium Ranger was not an actual, Go-Go 5 character, so...
No. That just is what it is. But no, like I said, what as far as like... Because for the most part, I think everything else, when you start getting like the Zords, you start getting into the weapons, you start getting into like the suits and everything, which I think the suits are fantastic.
Yeah.
I like the suits. I actually love the suits.
Their guns are fun though, because as a camera person, I always see like a Canon or Nikon lens that they're shooting through, and I always think that's like, are they focusing before they fire? It's just kind of cool. Like, what ISO are you shooting at?
It's like, wait a minute, let me adjust these settings real quick. Here, let me get a little focus. And
I also like when we used to do in film school, I always wanted to like press something on my jacket and have my camera lens show up in my hand. That would have been awesome.
But I love the fact that like, these guys, like they come in, they got these really awesome suits, they're pulling stuff off the grid, they're bringing in weapons from like their facility back to them and like just kind of summoning them, which kind of tackles the whole thing where they would just magically, back in the day, just pull weapons out of thin air, which was always kind of weird. But no, I like it. I like it so far. If you were going based strictly on the fact this is Hasbro and not like, what was it, Saban and...
I think he's still producing it.
He still produces it, but he's not as directly... He's not the overlord over Power Rangers like he used to be. But no, I think it's good. It's great so far to start. I actually think that... I do want to point out something. Something I was really happy when I first saw which actors were going to be which Rangers. I was very happy that Devin did not wind up being the Blue Ranger. That would have caused some problems for me. I would not be able to watch the show. There's no way you're going to have me sitting up here watching this man in 2019 in a blue suit and he's supposed to be a freaking gorilla. I just, no. Because what's it like, I'm going to use my gorilla powers. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm not with this. Turn this off.
Well, I think they got a lot more PC with after Mighty Morphin and Trini being yellow, Kimberly being pink. You got the All-American Boy.
Zach being black.
Native American. Jason was.
They went out of their way to make. They went out of the way after that. Like,
I think he was Hispanic, wasn't he? And then Tommy was. He became the Red Ranger later, and he was Native American. So yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but
they finally fixed it.
Except for Operation Overdrive, they had a Black Ranger for a black character, Black Ranger
woman
too.
So as far as like your feels on it, are you all in for Beast Morphers? Just based on what little bit we've seen, like I said, we've only gotten 3 episodes now. Do you think they're off to a good start?
I do. I like the fact that Enetron is Morph X, and they actually are dealing more with the morphing grid, which I think is cool. They actually referenced it. I like the fact that Devin's father's concern was that he mentioned and actually name dropped all the other Power Ranger teams, saying they were trying to keep all these villains from obtaining the morphing grid, and here you go, you're just putting it in a nice little box, wrapping it up for anybody to just come and take it, and that is exactly what happens. They create Morph X. So I like that they kind of went into that, and dealt with the canon and kept it all in the same universe, and I love, and it's going to sound silly, but I love the weaknesses are more realistic. I know they're cheesy, but they're more realistic than the chocolate, the chicken, and I guess the overheating is going to be the same, but...
Yeah, that's the only one that didn't really change.
It didn't, but the Red Ranger being scared of a dog because he has cheetah DNA, it does make a little bit more sense than a Red Ranger who is scared of chicken, because I have a lot of friends from Japan, and I'm actually married to a Korean, and they eat a lot of chicken, so he should never be able to leave his house.
Yeah.
Because it's everywhere. So
Crippling fear.
Seriously, chicken ramen, whatever. It's just it's over. So, I like the fact that the Red Rangers are scared of dogs, and it was so organic how they did it. There wasn't just a dog that went by. You saw a billboard where they advertised with a dog.
Wasn't the monster they were fighting in that episode? Did it have any like dog? I can't remember that. I don't think. No. But he was fighting it, and then when he hit
he saw the billboard, and then he just couldn't move, and he didn't know what was happening.
He was like.
Yeah, so we got Zoe and her carrots, because she's a rabbit, and then we got Devin and the dog, because he's a cheetah cat. Yeah. And then we have,
Ravi with his icy
Rampage. We have George, basically.
Well, I just love like he's laid up in the infirmary. He's got like just icy hot packs just all over him. I was like, dude, there you go, man. That's what you need. You're just gonna need some Epsom salt.
Yeah, but I think overall, I think I'm all in. I mean, I've been following Sentai and Power Rangers since they came out. I mean, so I'm like, I consider one of the old schools. I love both, and I always compare them, and I always have. I'm like you. I'm like, I have something to say. Like, yeah. But I mean, if we're talking about in terms of how close they are, they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
So far.
Oh yeah. No. One thing I will say though, one feather in the cap of Go-Busters versus Beast Morphers for me. I'm just gonna speak plainly here. Go-Busters theme song is better.
The music's always better.
The music's always better.
I mean, there's so many times you can do Go-Go Power Ranger variations over and over and over and over and over.
Look, let me just be real here. I would rather, like, as much as I love the Mighty Morphin theme, especially the arena rock version from the live action movie, where it's
that was actually really cool.
I mean, it was good because
except for Ivan Ooze, that was just not the Ivan Ooze. There's no reason for that, but yeah.
And the CGI Zords at the end, but they were awful. I'm just telling you right now. But I really, as much as I love the Mighty Morphin theme, I still think that is it Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger? Where they have it's just like a really cheesy 70s sounding theme, and I even like that one better, the Mighty Morphin
one. Which one?
It's like where it's like Zyuranger.
Well, Jetman has one that
Jetman is about
almost exactly the same.
The same thing. Well, it was a very Kaku Ranger. The ending thing for Kaku Ranger is also the awesome. Ending credits theme is just amazing.
There's so many They go all out. They hire either really good composers or very advanced to compose the entire soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Was it Ryu Solger, which I just watched the first episode of yesterday. Anyway.
Well, I mean, like I said, the soundtrack's always good. I mean, Tokusatsu has shows, and there are shows out there that even Ernie probably doesn't know.
Yeah, no, there's plenty.
Just the Riser. You ever seen that one?
I've not seen that.
That is I call it the indie show, but the music's on point.
I did just recently discover, was it Shibuya, or is it Shibuya 15, or I know it was 15.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to understand. I discovered there was one called Lion Maru the other day. Did not know that was a thing. Apparently, it's a dude. Turns into a guy with a lion head, and it's like an actual it looks just like if you went to like a basketball game and the mascot came walking out and he was just a lion with a samurai sword.
Well, I'm a Garo fan, so any kind of animal head, especially wolves, they're more wolves. So.
Oh no, I'm talking about like a fuzzy animal head.
Oh, a fuzzy.
Like I'm talking about like a legit like he looks like if someone walked out and turned into Grizz, the Memphis Grizzlies mascot, that's what it would be like. But Grizz had a sword. That is what Lion Maru would be, but just with.
Well, look at the old Sentai with Miss America.
Oh yeah, no.
So I mean, I'm used to that.
What was the one? Was it what was the one that had the cards? The card faces as like the motif, like they had like a spade and like the club.
Go-Ranger?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, you're talking about Big One.
Yeah. That's so.
Big
Yeah,
cool.
you will find all sorts of weird things, but yeah,
Japan.
Yeah, exactly. But no. So that being said, I highly recommend it. I think if Super Sentai is your thing at all, and you're kind of like, I don't know about this Beast Morphers stuff, I'd say give it a watch.
Yeah.
And if you are watching Beast Morphers, like, I don't know about this Super Sentai thing, I would say please
check it out.
Please go watch it.
Especially for the soundtrack.
Find it somewhere, please. Watch it. I cannot recommend it enough.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
That being said, I guess we'll go ahead and sign out of here. Maria, you can tell the good people where they can find you.
They can find me at Maria Amelia Park on Instagram. I'll also be helping with Blerd Without Fear on future videos. And then I also have a YouTube channel coming very soon. It's a web series called Approach the Nerd, which Mr. Ernie will be involved in. So we will be announcing that pretty soon. Having a production meeting about that today, actually. So look forward to that. And I'm also a voice actor. You can find me in a lot of different indie games. I've done stuff with Funimation and a few other very notable titles, and a few I can't even talk about. I just recently did a game a few months ago that has not come out yet that I cannot talk about.
Did you do anything in Sekiro?
No. I should have, though.
You should have.
Should have.
Shame on you.
I'm sorry, I failed. But but who knows what's coming, so around the bend. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Of course, always a pleasure. You have become very popular already just in the last month or so. So yes,
I'm glad that my popularity has been 30 days.
In 30 days, you've
of all the things I've accomplished in life, 30 days is all I got.
You passed the sell-by date. No, you're good. Everybody loves you. But no, thank y'all so much for watching this video. Of course, y'all know where to find me, and I could totally go on a whole spiel here about what you can do, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. You Hulk smash that like button. And also make sure you check out all the other videos. We got mad videos floating around. I'm sure there's one over there. There might be one over there. There's probably one like right in front of my face. You watch those videos. Go check out the Patreon at patreon.com/BlerdWithoutFear. Get that exclusive content. I'm playing video games, and I'm also doing Inside the Blerd Cave with more in-depth talks with me about stuff that I don't talk about here on this channel. So you make sure you do that. Make sure you click those buttons. And peace out. Plus Ultra!